Welcome back, and let's start with our first segment for today. As we mentioned in the beginning, we are bringing together sports and tourism as usual. We have many interesting parts to talk about. Well, today we are talking about an Egyptian traveler traveling on his bike, and he is moving around Egypt, moving around religious sites, moving around archaeological sites, historical sites, to tell us more about Egypt and more about our daily life. So today we have the pleasure to have with us engineer Amr Slim. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So first of all, tell us more about how did it all start?
I started in 2018. I love bike in general. Wanted to see the world, the beauty of Egypt. Egypt is a beauty country. Naguib Mahfouz said sentence is good. Egypt is not a historical country. Egypt is came and historical came after it. I wanted to show pyramids is one of wonder places. Mosques like Rifai and Sultan Hassan. Beautiful places in Egypt. Wanted to focus about it by my bike.
So you're traveling by your bike?
Yes.
Right. And you're spending, for example, you plan for yourself, I'll go today for this place, tomorrow for the other place, or you just start with your bike
No,
and
plane. Must be plane.
Yes, you are planning for this.
Yes.
So, for example, at night, you camp at night, or tell us more about your trip.
Maybe camping or we sleep on a mosque, maybe in my friends, different. And it's dependent about the place I go to there.
Right, tell me more about or one of the most exciting sites that you have visited.
Mosque, maybe Sultan Hassan is a good place. Have huge and good art.
The facade actually of the Sultan Hassan is amazing.
Yes, and another site we see Al Rifai. Two mosques is very good.
We call them the twins.
Yes. And another mosque is, I think no people know him. Sadat Quresh is Bilbis city from Sharqiya. It's the first mosque building in Cairo in Egypt. At last time I know Amr ibn al-As is the first one. It's wrong information. And when Amr ibn al-As coming to Egypt to open it, he building Masjid Sadat Quresh. It's the simple and smallest, but it's good mosque I meet him.
Usually we say that mosques is not only a place just for worship, because many people comes from across the globe. They are interested to visit mosques in Egypt to learn more about the architecture, the design,
yes.
The minarets.
Each
minaret is different from the other.
Sultan Hassan Rifai is good architecture, good art. Designer is very good. Not as a mosque. Yeah.
So you have been also to the religious complex.
Yes.
Did you stop by there?
I religious برضو hanging church.
Amr ibn al-As mosque and the hanging church, yes. And the synagogue.
Yes, this is the place with them. Amr ibn al-As beside.
It's a complex. Yes,
complex.
Bringing them all together in addition to some other churches, small churches behind. So talking about visiting these places, do you have the time to stop to talk to people over there?
Yes.
Because it's many of the visitors to Egypt actually who are interested to learn more about Egypt, they find it interesting to sit with people and to learn more about the daily life.
Daily life in these places, I go to mosques or church, speak with guide. He speak with me about the historical of this place when he building, the situation of building. And Sadat Quresh, this building at 18 years. Amr ibn al-As. I visit Al-Azhar. All of this speaking about it.
When did you start this?
2018.
2000?
2018.
2008?
Yes.
Right. So you also wrote books, two books, right?
In COVID period, we didn't travel. This is bad things for me.
So you just sat down to write what you did, or more about your visits?
Yes. All of people not interesting about social media. I have a channel on YouTube, searching or sharing or Facebook, but some people don't interest. And my mother not follow Facebook, not follow YouTube. So I wanted to speak all people.
Which age are you targeting? I mean,
all of age. I speak about all of age, from yes and men and old man, everything. Want to see the historical. Historical is not beside each.
Yes, of course, but the
Yes.
way you are targeting your audience, this is the point. I mean, each generation can be reached by a
Yeah.
different method or a different style.
Yaf is generation interested about it. To see Egypt, to see historical places. In the period of COVID, I can't travel. The way is closed. No go to work, no go to family, no go friends. So want to make things beautiful. I also the books is memorize things. I left it before we go. I didn't meet Naguib Mahfouz. I didn't meet Abbas Al-Aqad. But how I see him or know him by his books. So his books, I think, is memorize things for me.
You traveled inside Cairo and outside Cairo,
Yes.
right? So what about outside Cairo? Where have you been?
I travel a lot of places like Bahariya Oasis is beautiful place. I want
Where did you go in the oasis?
Bahariya Oasis is a part of Giza, but is far 350 kilometers in East Desert. I spent 3 days in the way. This is places of one I want to people focus of it. It's quite relaxation.
Have you been to the Egyptian desert, for example?
What?
Egyptian desert. I mean, like the White Desert and the movie.
Yes, but this is after Bahariya Oasis. Yani
Yes,
after we finish
yes.
Bahariya Oasis, go to Black Desert, first one, and Crystal Mountain, and after this visit White Desert, and finally we visit Farafra. This is الوادي الجديد governorate.
Yes. We have الدخلة الخارجة
No,
and
in
الفرح.
in the future.
Yeah. But you take pictures over there. You
Yes. Every places I go for him, I take a picture and videos. I want to see the people, beauty of Egypt. I describe for him the trip as he beside with me. Every places, every.
I think this is the most important part, to show everyone
Yes.
more about it so
Any
that he can be
any
part
strange,
of it.
yeah, any strange situation, any difficult situation, I show for him.
What are the main challenges that you have faced?
Challengers, maybe when I go to Kafr al-Sheikh, found people bought can juice. It's a strange stories. I met him in city. I discover how he made this juice. He connected the machine by generator to feed electrical power. Maybe برضو also Rashid is a good city. He far of Cairo 265 kilometer. Is a good places. I met him. He called it million city palm tree. This is the places is I want to focus the people on it outside of Cairo.
Sometimes we are used to some famous places, yet we have many other places that we need and we can visit. We have a great time over there.
A great time.
Maybe usually the media is focusing and the campaigns are focusing on the famous sites.
Famous like Alexandria is famous, but I don't interesting about famous.
Yes,
famous is
that's
famous.
the point.
Yes.
We are trying to bring to
Unfamous.
focus on the places that we need to highlight.
Yes, I visit Alexandria. See library Alexandria.
Where did you go in Alexandria?
Since 2 years.
No, where did you go?
A lot of places from Citadel of Qaitbay, library of Alexandria.
The Pompeii Pillar, for example.
No, I go in the sea, the way in the sea only. I don't enter on this Alexandria. But Alexandria, in usual, is famous. I want to see the people.
The Greek-Roman, of course, civilization and culture. Yes.
I wanted to focus about undiscovered, unfamous, like Rashid, like Bahariya Oasis, like Kafr al-Sheikh. Kafr al-Sheikh is a good governorate.
Have you been to Upper Egypt?
Upper Egypt, I traveled to Upper Egypt.
Where did you go?
A lot of Upper Egypt, from Giza to Luxor and Aswan. Visiting Nuba, visiting Hatshepsut temple, visiting any historical place I met him.
So usually how would you move to these sites?
I move, I blame firstly about the trip. and decided today مثلا I go to Bani Suif, the second day in Minya, make plan to
No,
arrive.
I mean, how did you go to Upper Egypt?
What?
How did you go? I mean, you go by train first and then
No,
use
no,
your
no, no.
bike, or all on your bike?
all of by bike, but back by train. يعني spend 1 week on the way from Giza to Aswan and back from Aswan to Cairo by train.
Okay. So, I mean, yes, you take the bike and you move into the city.
All of places like this. يعني traveling by bike and back by train, by bus, by aeroplane.
So,
It's different.
you mean you traveled from Cairo to Upper Egypt by bike?
Yes, but it's a long trip.
Of course, it will take long
I
time.
spent 10 days then on the way. يعني first Bani Suif, Minya, Asyut, Sohag, all of
So, you stopped at all the stops in between.
it different. يعني the second day it must be sleep on Minya. I didn't found places or camping. Go to after 50 kilometers in my friends sleeping with him. After Asyut didn't found hotel. Go to Sohag in my friends also. But Luxor and Aswan BB hotel.
So, the first book you wrote about your visits inside Cairo, right?
Yes.
What about the other book?
The other book outside of Cairo. The first book in period of COVID, so I didn't travel. So focus about historical places in Cairo. Another books outside of Cairo, like Alexandria, Matruh, Hurghada, Bahariya, Oasis, any places outside of Cairo. Inshallah, in future, I make third one and finished the south of these places. يعني I travel to Matruh, I travel to Oasis, Siwa. I travel to Hurghada, I travel to Halab Shalatin, also south of it. I travel to Bahariya Oasis, I travel to Farafra. And is speaking about the trip on Upper Egypt, Luxor and Aswan. It's a long trip for me.
So, of course, while writing these books, you have many important points to highlight. So, writing about your trip, when you started moving around, write it and to memorize it on your second book.
Yes.
So, you were writing about the place, or you were writing about your own experience about it and people that you met. Tell us more about it.
I speak about all. I speak about the way on trip. I speak on different or difficult situation. I met him like the person he bought can juice. I speak about difficult if make troubleshooting by bike. I speak about people, traditional and habit in this place. يعني Bahariya Oasis have traditional and habit different in Giza. I speak about historical places in this.
So pick up one and tell us more about it.
Maybe
things that are really different.
Not different. Every place in
every
Egypt,
place is unique and has its own style.
Yes.
But I mean something that you can talk about, something that you really cannot forget.
Rashid. Rashid is the best city I visit him. The people is very honest, friendly and family, and we is very quiet city. Maybe countryside as we say. I traveled from Alexandria to it and spent the day there. So I love it, this city so much, yani, and focus. And I say for all people visit this city.
Some cities, they have their own festivities, for example, and celebrations. Did you find time or have time to participate in any of the activities?
Of cities?
Like, for example, Nubia and these sites. Every place has its own.
No, I didn't attend this.
Their own festivities, actually,
no.
yes. What else can you tell us about? Sometimes there are places that you have some things that happened, for example, funny things, difficulties that you didn't forget.
Not difficult, but funny. I love situation when I travel to Sharqiya city, Belbis. I meeting person, small one, bought orange. He's a funny situation. I meet him.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yes, I love it. This is the person, yani. And second situation, maybe when I travel to Matruh, I meet small people by bike. go with me, just 1 or 2 kilometers.
They're interested in the
Yes.
idea itself. So did you find also time to sit with the children, with kids who would like to learn
In my trip,
in different places actually during your trip?
oh, I interested by this يعني to move the culture and to move the idea for him.
To listen to them, to understand how do
and
they see the places, how do they appreciate the places where they live, for example.
with children, so role model for him. He wants to see good idea, good culture, good person to make it in future.
Mhm. So that was for the second book.
Second book, I would say for him, it's outside of Egypt, Cairo, sorry, like Matruh, Hurghada, Bahariya Oasis, a lot of places out of Cairo.
Are you planning to write more, or you were just...
Yes, third one, inshallah, next year, South trip, inshallah.
About your new plan,
Yes.
right?
New planets, South places of
Yes.
like Halab, Shalatin, Farafara, Siwa.
About your new trip
Yes,
that you're going to
Luxor and
start.
Aswan.
And you're going to start this by next winter, you said?
Maybe the
Right.
new of Kutab library, next library, inshallah.
Right. So what about the archaeological sites that you stopped by inside Cairo?
Archaeological sites.
Yeah, or historical sites. You have been to the pyramids, you have been to Sultan Hassan and Rifai as religious
In
sites.
Cairo or outside of
In
Cairo?
Cairo.
Maybe pyramids is good. I like it. It's meditation places, maybe relaxation. As every places have description. And Sultan Hassan and Rifai.
What about other sites? Did you stop at, for example, Dahshur? Did you stop by
maybe
some other pyramids?
Saqqara. I visit Saqqara. It's beside the of Dahshur.
We have many pyramids actually. Only the famous ones
we
are
have
the
9
Saqqara
pyramids.
and the Giza pyramids.
In Egypt, we have 9 pyramids.
So did you visit any of these pyramids?
Visit pyramids in Giza and the Saqqara only.
Right. Did you visit any of the museums, for example?
Museum, yes, Egyptian Museum and Islamic Museum in Midtown is good. He discovered historical of Islamic and the periods of Islamic, and artists is Islamic. The artist Islamic is good things in mosques or of everything.
As a visitor to all of these beautiful sites in Egypt, let me ask you, usually we say that museums are very important, and in Egypt we have many museums located in different cities, even in now in recreational sites like Sharm el-Sheikh, for example. Now we have the Museum of Sharm el-Sheikh.
Every governorate, I think, we have a museum.
Right. So how do you see this? How important it is? Can it really tell you more about the culture of the city or of the nation?
Not culture. I visit Kafr al-Sheikh maybe since 2 months ago. He didn't speak about the traditional of governorate. He speak about general the traditional of Egypt. I go to Museum of Kafr al-Sheikh and go to a lot of museum. I don't speak about tradition of governorate of this place.
Yes, of course, it talks about Egypt. Yes,
Egypt in general.
Like that one, for example, of Sharm el-Sheikh. It's not talking about the history of Sharm el-Sheikh. It's talking about Egypt.
The best museum is Civilization Museum in Fustat. It's one of good because he is speaking about different period of Egypt, from pharaonic until the new. See the building, see music, see the people like Talat Harb is a person building Egyptian Bank, Muhammad Ali, Khedive Ismail is building.
Different eras.
Yes, different areas.
Yes. So at the end, tell us, what did you learn from this? Usually we say that we learn a lot from traveling. So what about you? I mean, you're traveling on your own, moving on from one place to the other. Your trips takes days and sometimes months. So tell us more about what did you learn? What's the experience that you gained?
I learned a lot of things. Firstly, I'm very happy when I trip. I learn historical of my country. I learn to how to learn children to يعني became a new generation. And we aims to new generation from Egypt know historical of his country. No people today interesting by historic. No people interesting about Islamic places like Sultan Hassan, like Lefai. Every people today go to cinema, go to malls, go to anything. No person to aims to visit museum or places. So we aims to focus about this.
Right, Engineer Amr Salim, best of luck to you, and
Nice,
we
thank
hope
you.
we see you again after your next trip.
Inshallah.
Right, moving on to a quick break, then we'll be back with more on the Breakfast Show.